So, Kev, to kick this one to you, with the Chiefs beating the Cardinals 44-21 in week one, did the Chiefs' performance put to rest some of the fears that you had with the Chiefs going into this season after this win?
To an extent, like we said in the last segment, it's week one. I didn't expect Arizona to really put too much up of a fight unless it was going to end up being a shootout because I don't think that Arizona has that good of a defense, in my personal opinion. But for Pat to go out there and basically just shut them down from the very beginning of the game, is something I've almost come to expect because it is Patrick Mahomes. And if you remember correctly, my prediction was because I was concerned with injuries. I was concerned when they have those interdivision games because I believe that some of those teams, technically on paper, are going to be a little bit better than the Chiefs. Now, because Patrick Mahomes has lost some decent playmakers, obviously they lost Tyreek Hill first and foremost, is who you think of immediately. They lost Tyrann Mathieu on the defensive side. They were still able to put up key points. They were still able to shut Arizona down to only 21 points in total for the game. But I will continue to keep my concerns at bay. I will keep and stay to my word because I'm not going to change it after a week. That would be hypocritical. But what am I supposed to say? Patrick Mahomes balled out, only 9 incompletions. He had a 94 QBR, a damn near perfect passer rating at 144.2. And he's Patrick Mahomes, man. You got to carve up bad defenses because it's what you're meant to do. Travis Kelce had himself a pretty good game. They were able to run the ball effectively. I mean, you name it, Kansas City fired on all cylinders. They were able to make Kyler Murray's life a living hell, and they kind of kept them at bay as well. So overall, Kansas City looked really good. Patrick Mahomes looked like his usual self. And the Arizona Cardinals, like I said, I really don't have much faith in them. They have pretty much a lackluster receiving core outside of Hollywood Brown, who to me isn't really that good to begin with until obviously DeAndre Hopkins gets back from suspension. And Kyler Murray really struggled. His vision, his awareness, he just was not able to kind of throw the ball downfield effectively. And I just do not believe if he's not running the ball efficiently on the ground, I don't really think that he's going to be able to do it from the pocket. He just got a really, really big contract, and I think Arizona might be second guessing that. Granted, he did throw for 2 touchdowns and almost 200 yards, but he was not able to move the needle in significant fashion to keep up with Patrick Mahomes in any capacity.
Just to look back at this game from the Chiefs, they were phenomenal in this game against the Cardinals. There's just no other way to say it. When I look at Patrick Mahomes specifically, he was just a man on a mission today. And that's despite the fact that there was some doubt with the Chiefs going into this season just because the amount of turnover that they had throughout the offseason. Obviously, losing Tyreek Hill with him going to the Miami Dolphins. You had Demarcus Robinson going to the Baltimore Ravens. And then there was a little bit of a void that Casey addressed by bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They brought in Marcus Valdes-Scantling from the Green Bay Packers. And by and large, when I look at the two acquisitions that they had this offseason, I thought they performed very well. Between the both of them, they had around 10 catches, had almost 120 yards receiving. You tie that to the fact that Travis Kelce, who was just an absolute beast against the Cardinals, I think by and large, I think this KC offense is going to continue to flourish despite the fact that they lost one of the most explosive wide receivers in Tyreek Hill. I mean, when I look at Patrick Mahomes, Pat was just amazing today. I mean, to throw 5 touchdowns, was 30 of 39 with passing, threw for over 350 yards. It's just Patrick Mahomes. And I understand that last year was a little bit of a difficulty just because, let's face it, they weren't necessarily the high flying explosive offense that we've all been accustomed to throughout large stretches last year. They kind of got it to work towards the end of the year, but with that turnover that they had this offseason, people were legitimately concerned. Even Kevin was. Kevin was really focused on them possibly being the third best team in the AFC West. And it's not really a slight on KC. It's really just indicative of how competitive and how strong the AFC West has gotten now that essentially every team in that division has a really good shot to make the playoffs. But with KC specifically, they just ran circles around the Cardinals today. I mean, at one point, it was a 37-7 lead. It was a 30-point lead for KC. And I understand that the Cardinals got some garbage time points to kind of make the game closer. But KC dominated this game in every way imaginable. And not only that, they made life extremely difficult for Kyler Murray just because Kyler Murray does not have DeAndre Hopkins. And there is a little bit of a weakness when it comes to Arizona's receivers. And I think that KC did their job to hold their receivers to essentially minimal performances to hold the Cardinals to only 7 points through 3 quarters. That's really just a testament to how well this defense can play in stretches. We saw that last year at times when the offense was struggling. That defense can play up to snuff. I don't really bank on it for large stretches, but they can do it in spurts. But by and large, I mean, granted, it is week one. I don't think this is the best version of what the Chiefs could potentially be this season. But I will say this: they got off to an amazing start. Patrick Mahomes looks like he's in midseason form, and I think the Chiefs, despite the fact that there's some really good teams in the AFC out there, like the Bills, the Chargers, I had the Bengals in there as well, even though that they lost to the Steelers in Week 1. The Chiefs are definitely going to be in that mix. They just have to stay consistent with Patrick Mahomes' uh, overall production, and if they can get turnovers on timely possessions, I think KC's going to be in the mix. So a great win from KC, and they definitely deserve to be 1-0 after that type of performance.